Okay, so let's start. So today we are here to discuss the role of competitive programming in getting a job in a company, supposedly like Google or any company that takes. So let me introduce myself first. My name is Swapnil Mahajan, and currently I am pursuing my BTech from HBTI Kanpur. I have an offer from Google India, and I am a competitive programmer on CodeChef and Codeforces. My username is Swapnil159. So not wasting any time, let's start. Like, why competitive programming is important or why one should do it. So what competitive programming does is that it improves our thinking ability and problem solving skills, and these are the skills that are tested in a coding interview. Any interviewer tries to test the our thinking ability, and by doing competitive programming you can actually get good at it. There are many platforms that host competitions like HackerRank or CodeChef or Codeforces. Even the recruiters or the HRs, they are active over these platforms to see like which people are performing up to their expectations. And then, like, I know some people who got a call from HR because of their Codeforces rating. So even the ratings that you have, they sometimes act as a benchmark for the companies. And competitive programming also helps in handling use cases or edge cases. When you are giving an interview, covering all the edge cases is an important part. So the person who has done a lot of competitive programming, he would be better at covering edge cases than as compared to someone who has not. So competitive programming helps you in this way. And let's see what an interviewer expects. So first of all, you should be clear while answering what the question is. You will only be able to answer once you know what the question is asking you to do. So it is a very good habit to ask good questions to the interviewer, which would clear the understanding of the question. Once you are clear with the understanding, then proceed with the solving part. There is no use going to solve a question unless you know it actually. So once you have a solution in mind, think that if it would be able to cover all the edge cases or not, or if you will have to handle some of the cases separately or not. You should have a clear understanding in your mind what cases you will handle differently or explicitly, and what cases your code will cover in a general sense. This is to be sure that you do not leave any of the cases. It leaves a very bad impact on the interviewer that if you leave a edge case, that shows that you are not clear in your thinking and you didn't think of every possibility. And this is what he is testing, that whether you are able to think clearly or not. So once you have a solution, be it a brute force, you should communicate with your interviewer. You should tell him what you are thinking. So when the interviewer would be satisfied, he would ask you to code it. Otherwise, he would ask you to optimize it. So this is the time when during all this time, you should be thinking in your mind whether you can optimize it or not. Even if you think that this is the best you can do, you should still try to think more. You should try to think a lot, that if even slightest possibility is there of optimizing this code, because more the optimized code, the better it is. And once you get the nod from interviewer that yes, he is satisfied by the solution that you are putting it up, by the complexity that you are saying, then you go to code. And when you code, keep in mind that you have to write a clean code. By clean code, I mean that the variable name should not be like ABC or anything like that. Suppose there is a ball in a number of balls is given you in the question. So try to maintain the variable name as number of balls or anything, which your code should be such that when the interviewer is reading your code, it should be understandable. The interviewer should understand your code just by reading it. So having good variable names, using coding practices, using spacing, etc., will help you write clean and solid code. And most important is analyzing the complexity of your code. Trust me, you would not want to tell the wrong complexity of your code. Complexity is one of the most important things. It is very basic of programming. So your complexity that you are saying should be correct. So analyze your code properly and think like what is exactly the time and space complexity of your code. Don't get this wrong, please. So next we move to the step-by-step guide. Step-by-step guide is here to tell you like what the general plan can be for your preparation to leading up to an interview. A very basic thing is to learn a language. I mean, you have to code, so you will code in a language, and in order to do that you should know a language like C++ or Java. I personally prefer C++ because C++ is fast, and also the length of the code that you have to write is short, as the code is short as compared to Java. I would recommend not to use scripting languages for competitive programming. Then once you know the language, then try to learn the basic data structures and algorithms and try to implement that in the language that you have chosen, because ultimately data structures and algorithms are the ones that you have to code, or you have to tell in the interview. After that, start practicing. There is no alternative to practice. Start from HackerRank. Say HackerRank, I consider it to be a good platform for beginners. Start from the easy questions on HackerRank and solve at least 50 questions, and then gradually move to CodeChef and then Codeforces, and start participating in contests. Participating in contests is important because you will come to know where you stand. Unless you participate in a contest, you are only competing against yourself. You will not get to know how other people are doing or how good the other people are. So participation in contests is very important according to me. Then try to achieve good ranks. Don't run after the ratings. Many times it happens that we try to run after the ratings, and then they are not in our control actually. So we get demotivated sometimes when the rating is not increasing. But you should not allow this to affect you too much, because you should focus on learning, and once your knowledge is there, once you have the grasp on all the algorithms and data structures, by all I mean most of them, ratings will follow. If you know something, you would be able to implement that, then your rating will increase automatically. So there is no point running after the ratings or getting demotivated if the rating is not increasing. There would be times you would like to give up, but that is when you should tell yourself that it's not the time to give up, it's the time to put in more effort. So don't give up, never give up. Next is get an internship. Getting an internship would be great. It increases your chances, because if you can get a PPO, then it would be great. So also an internship gives you exposure to how the industry works, or what work you actually do in the industry. But it can happen that you do not get an internship. I didn't have an internship. So don't get demoralized, or it's not the end of the world. Keep practicing, keep improving yourself, and analyze why you didn't get an internship, and then work on those areas and get better. Last step is applying for jobs. Once you have the required skill set, then look for jobs. The companies would visit your campus. Apart from then, you can try for LinkedIn. You can try messaging people on LinkedIn and ask them for referrals. You should follow the career pages of different companies, because if you have the skill set and you don't even know that an opening was there, then it's a waste. So follow the career pages of top companies, and there are even hiring challenges on HackerRank or HackerEarth sometimes, so keep an eye on that as well. Now let's talk about what my journey was. So I started coding from my second semester. My friends and my seniors introduced me to CodeChef, so I used to practice a lot back then, and then I reached 5-star in my second year. This happened because mainly due to my speed. I still think that I didn't have the required knowledge to reach 5-star back then. So this can happen with you also, that you were fast, typing speed. Because of the typing speed, you were able to solve some of the questions quicker than most of the participants, and then your rating increased. So this is when a rating can be a false indication of your knowledge. So rating can be a false indication of your knowledge, and so you should check yourself. You should do a self analysis that how much you know. This can be done like few months back. If there was a question which you weren't able to solve, pick that question up and see if you can get the idea now or not. So don't trust ratings too much for your knowledge, I would say. Next, I started Codeforces in my third year. Codeforces, I prefer Codeforces over CodeChef now because Codeforces has large participation as compared to CodeChef, and also there are a lot of vlogs, very informative vlogs are there on Codeforces. So try to perform on Codeforces better. I would recommend everyone to do Codeforces. I mean, don't leave it. It is difficult. It is a bit difficult there, but don't leave it. Then, for getting into Google, there for getting into Google, you should see what Google asks. What my research was that there are a lot of graph and DP questions that are asked. So in my third year, I had my primary focus on graph and DP questions only. So yeah, I mean, do not leave them. I mean, someone can advise you to leave dynamic programming or anything, but if you're aiming for a tier 1 company, don't leave it. It's a difficult topic, but you should practice a lot. Dynamic programming needs practice. Then yes, I joined Scalar Academy after my third year for a structured interview preparation. They had a structure which really helped me for my interview preparation. Then my practice was going on in LeetCode and Codeforces as it is. Then it was the Google Kickstart Round G in 2019, where I secured 51st rank, and this gave me a lot of confidence that yes, I can apply to Google or I can clear the interviews of Google. So after that, I got a referral for Google from Scalar Academy, and then the interviews took place and I cleared them. So this is how the general interview of Google is. First, you have to apply on the career site. A referral would be handy here because there are a lot of applications on Google. So a referral makes your application stand out. So try to get a referral. You can get a referral if you have a good Kickstart rank, or ask an employee from an employee there working there for a referral. First, there are generally 1 to 2 telephonic rounds. These get skipped if you have a good Kickstart rank. So give Google Kickstart competitions. They are held, I think, 8 times a year. So give Google Kickstart competitions. If you have a really good rank, then they would get skipped for you. Then there are 5 on-site interviews. For me, the on-site interview were in Google Bangalore office. 4 of these rounds were based on DS and Algo, and one round is the 5th round is called the Googliness and Leadership round. It is there to check the cultural fit, that if you will be able to fit in the culture or not. This is a mandatory round. That means you have to clear this round in order to get selected. So after your interviews, once you are done with your interviews, your packet is sent to hiring committee. Your packet includes your resume, your coding profiles that you have on CodeChef or any other website, your mark sheets, college mark sheets, interview feedbacks that are given by the interviewers. So a hiring committee in Google is there which sits and analyzes all these things, and after that gives the nod that whether you are a fit or not. After the hiring committee approves your candidature, it goes for team matching. Team matching basically is that allocating a team to you, where you will work, with whom will you work. So your packet is sent to various teams, and then if a team thinks that you would be a good match or you would add value to their team, then they would select you. And after this, the process is pretty much over. There are few internal things which you shouldn't worry about. Next is the question and answer. If you have guys anything to say or anything you want to ask, you can ask in the comment section. I'll answer your questions. Yeah, so the difficulty of questions in Google is it ranges from Code Forces Division to question C to Code Forces Division to E. There are questions that sometimes in the interview the interviewer asks you a question and then follows it with a variation or anything. So it starts from div to C and then it leads up to div to E. So you should practice on Code Forces for these questions. हाँ खोल लिया. Okay, so I have a question, sir. Is Java or CPP is good for CP? Okay, so Ankush, my personal preference would be CPP. Java, I prefer CPP over Java because the code in CPP runs faster than Java, and also the length of the code for the same question would be less in CPP as compared to Java. So I prefer CPP over Java, but you can choose Java as well. There are great coders out there who codes in Java, so that's not an issue. Language is not an issue. Don't spend too much time thinking about it. How to master DS and Algo? Abhishek asks it. So Abhishek, how to master DS and Algo? You have to practice a lot. Like for each data structure algorithm, you should practice 15 to 20 questions at least, and just keep practicing. You will get better at that. The key thing is to keep going on and not giving up, because there would be a time when you will feel that you are not improving and it's all in vain. So just don't think that way. Keep practicing, you will get good at it. Anurag is asking what was the level of questions, what were the major topics that an interview revolved around. Also I would like to ask, does competing Google foobar still holds the chance to get an interview? Okay, so Anurag, the level of questions was from Code Forces Division to C problem to Code Forces Division to E problem. Like generally the interviewer would start from a C level question and then keep adding variations to it and then go to an E level question. So the major topics that my interview revolved around was graphs and trees. Like my 80 to 85% questions were based on graphs and trees. And Google foobar, regarding Google foobar, I haven't given Google foobar ever, so I'm not sure about that. But seeing the participation on LinkedIn, I don't think that it holds a chance to get an interview now. Okay, Shivam Dikshit, how to become expert from pupil on Code Forces? Shivam, there is no, I mean, you have to keep practicing. There are actually, to become an expert, you only need to solve ABC without a wrong answer in a decent amount of time, and you will be there. So keep practicing of these questions, the questions of this difficulty level. You'll there. Sir, what about the projects? Okay, so Abhishek, I wasn't asked any projects in Google, but this doesn't mean that you shouldn't do projects. There are many companies out there which asks project on interviews, like Amazon asks it. So don't leave out projects. Google didn't ask it doesn't mean no one will ask it. Everyone suggests Internshala and LinkedIn to get internship, but I am unable to find it. Okay, so Akriti, even I tried of getting an internship from LinkedIn but couldn't. What I would say to you is that try to search like how you should message to someone on LinkedIn. This was the thing that was missing in me in my third year, and I think because of this I wasn't able to get an internship. Also, I think you should have one or two projects, because the startups, my personal opinion, that the startups, when they're hiring, they want to see if you have done any projects previously or not. They want to see that if you are already into some kind of development or not. So get some projects and then try to ping people on LinkedIn. I like to say that write a paragraph or 2-3 lines, introductory lines about yourself, and then send it to someone you are asking referral from. Ankush Maurya is saying, but sir, my seniors say that in India Java is most recommended. But sir, I want to let CVP. Is this language is better, sir? Please, okay. So Anshul, your seniors are saying that Java is most recommended in India. I'm like quite sure that by this they mean that in the industry Java is being used more than CPP, and that's right. In industry, Java is being more used, but for doing competitive programming, I personally feel CPP is better. Till now, I'm in my final year, and having being placed in a company, I can assure you that choosing CPP wouldn't backfire. So if you want to choose CPP, go for it, no problem. And even if in future, if your company is using Java and you have to switch your language, that's not a big issue. There's on basically the syntax changes, and there's not much difference in changing languages. So you can choose CPP. There's no problem in that. Okay, so any other questions? If anyone has any other questions. Shubham Dikshit, you should definitely do your final year project seriously. If anyone has any other questions, then please ask. Tier 3 colleges students have a chance in Google. Yes, definitely, sir. I consider my college a tier 3 college. I don't know what tier exactly it lies in, but definitely tier 3 college students have a chance in Google, because it is the college that is tier 3 and not the students. So yeah, definitely tier 3 college students have a chance in Google. How to practice GP, Shubham Nama? How to practice GP is to open questions, start from the solve them on the basis of difficulty or summation, then start and solving them. Ayush Pandey saying, tell us something about dynamic programming. Okay, so tell us something about dynamic programming. Is basically a clever brute force. In dynamic programming, you just have to make sure that you do one thing only once and not again and again. So it's a clever brute force according to me. Also, are these open for non-CSIT? Yes, what I know is that there is no limitation on the branch. There is no constraint on the branch. So you can apply to Google even if you're a non-CSIT student. Sir, will you please suggest some resources from where I can learn DS and Algo? So Abhishek, you can start from the CP algorithms. It is the website cpalgorithms.com. You can start from there, and for practice you can use Codeforces ladders or something like that. But yeah, to start the resources would be Hacker tutorials are also good. So Hacker tutorials and cpalgorithms.com, I would recommend these two to start. Tushar Gupta, from where we can get referrals and how? Okay, Tushar, you can message people on LinkedIn. This message that you send to someone on LinkedIn asking for referral is the most important part. This message should include what skill set you have and why you are eligible for the job. So write this message like after a lot of thinking, and it should summarize all that you have done till now. And you can get referrals from LinkedIn, or you can try finding people on Internshala as well. Sir, in my college no more company will come for hiring. Then is this better to give my time on CPA solving problem, or to go any tech such as web or Android? Okay, so Ankush, you are saying that in your college no more company will come for hiring. I'm assuming you are a final year student. Then is it better? Okay, so if you are a final year student and you have to get placed now, so I'd say that you should probably focus on CP if you are already not good in it. If you think you have the required skill set to clear the DS and Algo round, then go for web or Android projects. But if you think that you need some improvements in DS and Algo, then first get that right, because there are companies that can hire only on DS and Algo. From where do you study theory? Coreman. Okay, I did study graph from Coreman, but I would suggest like you don't need to read Coreman for getting placed. Geeks for Geeks is fine. Lead Code is fine. Okay, so let me see if there are any other questions. Okay, so I'll wait for 2 to 3 minutes. If there are no more questions, then we'll end this. How COVID crashes affected your final semester? We are at home, Arpit. So the semester, first sem is best to start coding, right? Yeah, I would say so. The earlier you start, the better it is. You are giving yourself more time to get better at that. So earlier you start, the better it is. I started from second semester, so if someone can start from first semester, it's great, really great. Okay, so sir, what about SQL problem? Ankush, can you elaborate on that a bit? What do you mean by SQL problem? Ankit says I am in second year and I am from mechanical branch, okay, and I love coding also, so I am eligible for it. Yes, Ankit, you are definitely eligible for the jobs out there, which the CS jobs. If you are, even if you are from mechanical branch, the companies sometimes have a constraint on the branch as well, so you would have less opportunities. But like definitely you can apply to companies who do not have this constraint. There are people out there who are from your branch and they are doing coding and they have a job. Ayush Pandey says, what I mean, I'm as clueless as you are. Shrey Agarwal asked what resources you used for CP. So Shrey, I used Codeforces and CodeChef for practicing, and Lead Code in the later part. And for learning, I used Hacker Earth blogs and Codeforces blogs. Also, CP Algorithms website. It has great explanation according to me. Okay, Ankush sir, what about SQL? So Ankush, I'm assuming that you are asking about the subjects DBMS and OS or even networking. So subjects weren't asked in Google, but yes, they get asked in, like I have from OYO rooms as well. So OS and DBMS were asked there. So you should study your subjects also. Most important subjects are DBMS, OS and computer networks. So do take them seriously. I mean, certain interview round about SQL query problem. Okay. So Ankush, regarding this, I remember facing an interview where I was asked a SQL query problem and I wasn't able to solve it. So for SQL query questions, there are questions on interview bit, I think, and also I think you can, if you will search, you will find repositories on GitHub having SQL questions, standard SQL questions. You should do all of them according to me. There are not many, so try practicing from there. Ankit Singh, okay, that means it is not much beneficial for me, right? Okay, Ankit, let me get back. You asked code. See, uh, it's a difficult one. That it is not that beneficial for you or not. If you really love it, I think you should do it, because you will eventually get placed if you are really good at it. Placement would would come if you have the knowledge. So there would be less opportunities, no doubt, but you should do it. Do elaborate or interview experience with Oyo. Okay, so my interview in Oyo was like, first there was the coding round, which had questions from interview bit. So do practice on interview bit. It can help you in companies who directly ask questions from these platforms. So first coding round had two questions from interview bit, and after that there were two technical interviews in Oyo. Both were based on DS and Algo. In the second interview, I was also asked some questions on DBMS and OS. So study your subjects and keep competitive programming or DS Algo knowledge with you. In OYO, the questions were not very difficult. If you are practicing on lead code and you have a practice there for a decent amount of time, you will be able to get through it. Shreya, I have answered your question before. No problem, Ankit. I think we are, and we should end it now. I cannot see any more questions. Okay, so we are ending. Thanks a lot everyone for hearing me out. Sir, how to apply in company for off campus? Okay, Ankush, you can ask for referrals to someone and you can look for off campus hiring drives. They are posted on LinkedIn. Keep an eye on LinkedIn for off campus drives. Ask for referrals. Yeah, I mean, off campus basically, yeah, only these. Okay, thank you everyone. We are ending now.